All right, here we are, Roundtable Ravens, episode 2. We have so much to talk about. I am once again joined by my co-host, Billie Melissa. Uh, let's just jump right into it. A little bit of breaking news. I mean, by the time this pod comes out, this is already going to be revealed. But Zay Flowers was just named to his second consecutive Pro Bowl. So congrats to Zay Flowers. He's had a phenomenal season
Well deserved.
except for what I'm about to say next about him. But other than that, he's had a really, really good season thus far. So let's just jump right into the game itself. Man, this was really a heartbreaker for the Ravens. I mean, everything seemed to be going right for the team. Even when in the second quarter, at the end of the second quarter, when Lamar Jackson was hurt, Snoop Huntley came out and played a wonderful game. I thought
He
he was key.
did. He did.
I thought he was keeping the offense up to speed with the Patriots. Everything was they were still neck and neck, defensive plays left and right. They were stopping the Patriots completely, which is insane because this has been one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL and the AFC throughout this entire year. And yeah, I'm there's so much. I'm so confused about so many different things that happened in this game.
That is
First.
just the life of a Ravens fan is being confused about how you're up a double-digit score in the fourth quarter and you
Right.
still lose the
Right,
game.
right. I mean, I think the biggest thing here is obviously Derrick Henry had a fumble in the first quarter. It was
Yeah.
very, very reminiscent of his issues holding onto the ball. I mean, he hasn't really had that many this year really hasn't had that many kind of game swinging fumbles, and it was in the first quarter. So let's not count that one all the way. It did happen. It was really bad. It stalled the drive, and it led to points for the Patriots, but he did it in the first quarter. So, in my
Yeah, we came
opinion,
out swinging though. We
yeah,
came out swinging, and then that it's exactly what you said last week. We needed to do come out swinging and not let go. And then I said silly mistakes that are going to get us, and that just shifted the momentum slightly. Didn't completely derail, but momentum a little bit went on to the Patriots side.
no, you're right. I did say that. I was like, they can't come out slow like they did against the Steelers. They can't come out slow like they did against the Bengals, and they didn't. They were the first team to score a touchdown. Lamar moved the
Hmm.
ball really well, like right away. I was like, okay, like here we go, let's go. Touchdown off the bat, and then, um, there was the interception. That they got, and then they got the interception, and then that's when Derrick Henry fumbled, and then it led to the opening of the second quarter when the Patriots got their first touchdown. But even
Hmm.
still, they were still moving the ball pretty well. They had a punt after that. Patriots get a field goal. Ravens get a field goal. Then there was the fumble on the Patriots, and then it was the end of the half. So we're 10-10, and obviously what happened next was the worst part, which was Lamar Jackson got hurt again.
Yeah.
Honestly, initially I was like, I didn't see what happened. I just saw him on the ground, and then I saw him on the sideline wincing, and I was like, what? What happened?
Well,
Was
I
it a
saw him
leg?
get up. Like it looked exactly the same way he went down earlier in the season, was like off on a run and then just suddenly like went down really quickly. And then the second he got up, I saw him wincing and I was like, it's not looking good for us.
Right. And initially I was like, what is it? Was it his knee? Was it a hamstring again? Like what happened? It didn't initially
Looked like
uh
a back injury at
no,
least.
not at all. And then they were even saying on the telecast that they thought it was a rib injury, like he had got kneed in the ribs. And I was like, okay,
Mm,
well, yeah, that maybe it's a stinger. But he was also wearing the flak vest, the protective flak vest, like most quarterbacks wear for that reason, because they don't want to fall on the ball, they don't want to fall on someone's leg, they
hmm.
don't want to get hit in the ribs because then they can't throw the ball. But he was in considerable pain on the sideline, and I was like, oh, this is not going to be good. And then he went into the locker room, and still he was in a bunch of pain, and I was like, he's not going to. It already looked like he wasn't going to come back out in the game, and that happened,
Yeah,
But
it's rare that he goes into the locker room. So when I saw that, I was like, ah, that's good. That tells me everything I need to know,
right.
pretty much.
And then Snoop comes out. Snoop Huntley comes out 3-12 right before the half, and then they get a field goal, and I was like, okay, well, didn't really have much time to kind of prepare. And then the second half rolls around, and they come out, and again, they looked really good. They
Yeah,
and
great
they
throw to Zay, touchdown.
Yeah, before that, they immediately stopped the Patriots, make them punt. They missed the field goal. Patriots get a field goal, and then you got the Zay Flowers touchdown, as you said, and then turnover on downs for the Patriots. Again, things seem to be going their way. Everything's kind of great. And then 14-yard pass to Zay Flowers. They're moving the ball, and then 22-yard banger to D Hop, DeAndre Hopkins, and then Derrick Henry gets a touchdown. So they're up, what is it, 24-13 at the start of the fourth quarter. Obviously, the Patriots fire back right away. And then this is where things kind of get a little more confusing. And Derrick Henry was above the 100-yard mark at that point, and this is the second to last offensive drive in the fourth quarter that the Ravens get the ball back, and he's not on the field.
Yeah.
Keaton Mitchell's on the field. And this is where I was like, what? Why? Why is Derrick Henry had been carving them up all day. He was getting like 4 to 5 yards per run. And Mitchell, not so much. So
Hmm.
hindsight's 2020 for John Harbaugh, but
Yeah, but we're going back years of this. Like
right, right.
it's a common theme. I don't know if it's Monken, I don't know if it's horrible, but every time Henry's having a game, you will not see him in the fourth quarter. He'll just be sat on the sideline. And especially it was after the Patriots scored, and I was like, this is our opportunity. You need to chuck the like MVP of the game back in. No, stood on the sideline. Ali's in the backfield, and I'm like, what on earth is going on?
Yeah.
But like I said, common theme throughout the last few years. So
Yeah, and then on his in his presser talking to the media about the reasoning behind that, he gave kind of I mean it's always coach speak with most head coaches, so this is nothing new, but he gave the excuse, or rather the reasoning behind it being that him and Henry and Mitchell were trading off drives, and that is such a lame excuse because why? Not in the sense of like why are they splitting carries, but why do you not just change that up? Like you said, is it Monken doing this? Is it Harbaugh? Is it collection? Like who is making that call when you have a guy that had 7.1 yards per carry as opposed to Mitchell, who had 1.4 yards per carry? So he had 9 carries for 13 yards. At like what, where in the game plan do you go, okay, yeah, you're not going back out there unless it's like maybe a first down, see what you can do. Okay, no, you're done. We're putting Henry back out there. So, again,
Harbaugh's mind thought processes, they go over my head. I don't know. It's painful. And I remember seeing it happen and I was like, we're not coming back.
yeah.
I just knew. I was like that we're not coming back from this.
Yeah, again, hindsight's 2020. I mean, he obviously, even when he was giving that excuse or giving the reasoning, you can tell like he was like, yeah, in my opinion, I think he wanted to say, yeah, I fudged up.
Yeah, but
So
then he would have had to apologize for the last that like honestly, I can't tell you how frustrating. And it happens in the playoffs, it happens every time.
yeah,
Like we just don't know where Henry is. He's
yeah,
off the field. And it's not just Henry, goes back to like J.K. Dobbins, like it
mhm.
goes back, like it's a common theme that happens all the time. I would love to know the real reason behind it. No idea.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like that's he also answered questions about his job security following that. Obviously, like that's been kind of the theme here. And it's those kind of moments where it's like, okay, well, it's kind of, dude, what are you doing? Kind of a thing. I feel like he's in the same vein um as Mike Tomlin is, and that they've been with these teams for so long and they've been stuck in their ways for so long that's
Yeah.
why fans are now starting to bring up like, okay, maybe it's time to think
Maybe
about a
it's time to move
change.
on.
Yeah, I mean, look, John Harbaugh is an incredible coach. I am not saying get rid of him. I'm just
Can't take
saying
that Super Bowl ring away from him. You can't take it
right,
away from him.
right. And he's a leader of men. He's an incredible coach. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I understand the cause for that when it's things like this, where it's like you're sitting Derrick Henry in
For
the
sure.
fourth quarter for what reason? Like it's Derrick Henry. He can get yardage. Like, come on.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of things in the last few years, like seeing Mike McDonald walk to Seattle broke my heart in two as a Ravens fan. There are some like questionable decisions that get made over the years that just leave me wondering. I'm a Harbaugh defender. I love him. I love the culture that he brings, and I love the relationship between him, Bishotti, and EDC. I think it's great for the team and for the city. Like football and the Ravens mean a lot to the city. But yeah, when's it time to move on? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, here's a wild idea. This just is a crazy idea. What if, because Mike Tomlin's facing the same scrutiny, even though he just finished his 19th
Hmm.
straight winning season, which is absurd. What if at the end, because coaches can be traded, what if they swapped? Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? Like, what if Mike
Oh my
Tomlin?
gosh.
I would like. I'm just
What
saying.
a
Look,
little bit of a little bit of fun. People have
you're.
said Tomlin's built for Baltimore culture. I personally would like to keep him in Pittsburgh.
Hey,
But just for a
yeah.
season, just for a season, try it out, see what happens.
I would feel the same way if Bill Belichick went to coach the Dolphins. I'd be like, no,
Yeah.
no, none of this. Let's not do the guy that tortured the Dolphins for 20 freaking years.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving right along, obviously we talked about it briefly, but there was more of an update on Lamar Jackson and his injury. So, a video following the loss, he was talking to reporters and he did state that he tried to get back out there, but he just
Yeah.
couldn't do it. They gave him a Toradol shot. I think I'm saying that right, but basically, because I've had one, because I've had back issues myself. Basically, what it is a highly concentrated like painkiller that
Mm.
they inject you with, and it's supposed to like kind of immediately get rid of your pain. But I had one of those more recently, and it did not do anything.
Oh,
And
dang.
I'm assuming that's what happened with Lamar. He said that they got him a tornado shot and he was trying to throw the ball and he just simply could not. Again, I've
Mm.
had back issues before. I won't get into why I had back issues. That's a story for another day, but I understand is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So mine was due to a car wreck. His was due to getting kneed in the back at like by a 300-pound person. I get it. So he did say he was with the training staff and he tried to get back out there, but he just he could simply not do it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
I would rather he keep himself safe, if we are still making a run at the playoffs. And for me, as a Ravens fan over the years, when I've seen Lamar go down, I get concerned because I'm like, I don't want my quarterback out. But like Snoop, he can do the job. Like he can get the stuff done as long as he takes care of the ball. So like I was like, we're still in it. We still have a chance, but
mm,
it's going to be a rough stretch getting much further without him, I think.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And again, like we said, Huntley came out and he played a very, very wonderful game in relief. Like I was actually really surprised he played that well. Not saying that he doesn't play well or can't play well, but you just see like the way in which he commands the offense. It's very similar to Lamar, and
Yeah.
so he came out played a really good game. But yeah, so again, following the loss and all the pressers and stuff, Harbaugh did indicate that what Jackson has, is a back contusion. Obviously, that's a lot less concerning than what it could have been if there was some sort of like, obviously, if he broke his back, he wouldn't be able to play like for a long time. But there's nothing that would presumably keep him out from playing on Saturday. Jackson said that's the plan to play on Saturday. Obviously, they have to see how the week goes with practice, see how Lamar Jackson holds up. Hopefully, that is the case that he will be able to play on Saturday. But it does sound like it's not too serious in terms of the nature of the injury. It doesn't sound like it's going to keep him out. Obviously, they are playing for their playoff lives on Saturday. They must win that game no matter what to make
Yeah.
it. And that's the end all be all of it. You have to win, you have to beat the Packers. But transitioning right into the game itself, I don't wish any ill will on any player, any NFL player to get hurt or whatever, but the Ravens are potentially walking into a very beneficial situation on Saturday because Jordan Love is in concussion protocol, and it probably
Mhm.
doesn't sound like he's going to be playing. Also, Malik Willis has a shoulder injury. So the Ravens have a very huge benefit if everything comes down on their side in the sense that like you're going to be playing a third string quarterback. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I am not on the Packers beat. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on with that. All this is all I've heard through the grapevine or
Speculation.
read. Those two things. I mean, Malik Willis, his shoulder. I don't know how serious or not serious it is, but Jordan Love is in concussion protocol. So there is a really strong chance that the Ravens will be playing the Packers potentially with a third string quarterback.
Yeah, we're going into it like a beneficial. We're giving like getting the best chance possible to continue that playoff dream, especially if Lamar can come back strong and, stay healthy. I would much rather he, took care of himself because I don't think, not to be pessimistic about it, but I don't think if we're going to the playoffs that we're going much further. first round, to be honest. But it's always good to keep the dream alive for another week.
No, I mean, yeah, here's the thing is like you kind of never know with the Ravens when they go to the playoffs. Like sometimes they just show up and all of a sudden they're in the AFC Championship game, and then sometimes they get bounced out of the first round. You never know. You
Well,
never
we had a
know.
really similar season the last time we won the Super Bowl. We went into the playoffs 10-6, had that really difficult losing streak after Ray Lewis went down. So, like, we've
Yeah.
seen the story before. Like, we weren't the best team that we could have been the last time we won the Super Bowl. So, I never count my team out. I just think that there's a lot going on, maybe even behind the scenes that we're not privy to, that are like,
Mhm.
there's some friction there. I don't know. I'm not seeing this team gel and as cohesive as they have been the last few years.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the more interesting things was, Lamar was asked after the back injury if that like was due to other injuries that he's had this season or if that activated anything or what have you. And it's really interesting question because like he's had knee, toe, hamstring, who else
Everything.
knows? Yeah, and he's been taking a week off of practice or a day off of practice since week 11 when he keeps
Mhm.
popping up on the injury report. He keeps saying it's nothing but rest. It's nothing but rest. In the beginning, it did seem like there was something going on because he wasn't running the ball very well. I mean, he kind of picked it up in the last couple of weeks, but now he has a back injury. And back injury, as I talked about a little bit earlier, back injuries are worse. If you have any kind of back anything, you can't move because your spine there and everything is holding everything together and
Yeah,
like
exactly.
so if this is anything more than that contusion, if there's anything that's going to keep him from being able to step forward, throw the ball, what have you, like, he could be in some real trouble. And obviously keeping him healthy is more important. Not saying that this back issue would like be something long term that he wouldn't be able to start next season, but
Hmm.
his overall health matters a great deal too because he's the franchise quarterback. He's Lamar Jackson. You got to make sure he's healthy. Obviously, a lot of the issues of this season have been due to his health. So,
Yeah. Well, I saw something funny that a reporter was saying to him, like, oh, all of last season you had 23 sacks, and this time this season you have 23 sacks already. And obviously he'd already missed a few games. And he was like, oh, I'm gonna have to talk to my O-line about that. And like,
mm,
as we all know, we're having O-line issues. He's not safe. He doesn't have enough time to be scanning the field and play. Like, he's not got that same time that he's had in previous seasons, and he's not had that same reliability or protection. And so, it will take a hit on you. He's taken a lot of sacks this year. He's taken a lot of beatings. And I think that, he's probably tired of it. He's probably tired of not being able to have the opportunity that he usually has to make those big plays, make those crazy Lamar only can make plays because, the people surrounding him aren't as strong as they've been. The thing is that that right tackle position's been an issue for a while. It's the one that's kind of been not necessarily always there. Like Ronnie's always there. We got Linderbaum in the middle, and then we're kind of switching around. So he needs a consistent, good O-line to keep him safe.
yeah, I mean, and obviously Derrick Henry always does his thing, but even more so, you can open more running lanes there with a better O line. Even more so for him. Like I said, it's not really Henry isn't really the issue. I mean, maybe more so for Keaton Mitchell, you can get that going. Maybe bring in. Mark Andrews is a wonderful tight end, but more of a blocking tight end situation.
Hmm.
Just more blocking, obviously, in general to make sure that Lamar is not going down because you can't have him injured. Obviously, look at the record. Look at what's happened. Again,
Yeah,
Snoop can take over in relief, but like really, like you need a full 17 game season for Lamar for this team to really get cooking and really show the results.
for
Obviously
sure.
the hamstring injury like really is the thing that kind of screwed everything up. And then you have Cooper Rush come out who is just
We don't talk about the Cooper Rush era.
yeah. So
Didn't happen. I remember seeing him play and being like, "Well, you just get Snoop out on the field because I know that that guy can get it done." I
yeah,
don't know what they were messing around with him for a little while.
yeah. I don't know. They put him out those two games, and I was like, all right, this
I
is
was like,
not.
"Get Snoop on the field," and then I can't remember which one it was, but then Snoop come out, cleared up all the issues, and I was like,
Yep.
"We could have been winning the whole time."
Really quick, some more breaking news again. This whole list is going to be out by the time this pod comes out. But four Ravens named to the Pro Bowl. We got safety Kyle Hamilton, fullback Patrick Ricard, linebacker Roquan Swift, and punter Jordan Stout. Uh,
Oh, love to see Stout get some recognition.
it's
Love
pretty
that.
cool. It's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Also, the alternates, quarterback Lamar Jackson, tight end Mark Andrews, and running back Derrick Henry were the alternates. So this is a very rare year in which Jackson was not named to the starting Pro Bowl
Well, he
quarterbacks.
doesn't go anymore. I remember
Yeah,
the last year. I can't remember if the year before as well, but he generally doesn't
yeah,
go. So I think
yeah, yeah.
understood. They maybe feel a bit chippy about that one.
But there you go. Some breaking news.
Well, all very deserved,
Yeah.
and no surprises there at all.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so now, the Ravens even more so have their like honestly, I really felt like they should have won that game. Like you
For
said,
sure.
silly mistakes came up and just bit them in the butt. But I really feel like they should have won that game. They were so close. And I was like, oh, I'm a believer. Like, look how well they're playing. And then even when Huntley came out, I was like, look how well they're still playing. But you know, uh, what I had brought up before is like you can't let Drake May get cooking. You cannot do that. Stephon
No.
Diggs was just carving them up, and it wasn't even so much that it was busted coverage. It was more so the yards after the catch. Like boom, they would catch and then boom, 30 yards, boom, 15 yards, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. And they just kept carving up the secondary. They needed to tighten things up. In the fourth quarter, that was the time to do it. Obviously, not having Derrick Henry out there really screwed things up. You could have just put him in there for that second to last offensive drive. And then finally, the thing that we didn't bring up that I said I was going to bring up, but I just thought of it right now as we're talking is you have to protect the damn ball. Come on, Zay. What the hell? Like that is so inexcusable for
My
so many
boy.
reasons. I know. And he's not a person that does that. And
He's not. He can get a little excited and I think sometimes he needs to learn to just take the ball and go down. He was always looking for those yak yards. He's always trying to keep the dream alive. And I'm like, say, sometimes, honey, you gotta just take the ball and go down.
yeah. I mean, even so, like obviously he didn't see that Chason was behind him chasing him down, which, obviously he doesn't have eyes in the back of his head. But regardless, you're running into like four or five Patriots already. You tuck the ball and you just try to put your shoulder down and get as many yards as you can and call it a day. Because like
Yeah,
even so, even getting tackled where he was at, it was still like a 4 or 5 yard gain. That's still on first down, and you can keep moving the chains. But
exactly.
to get to fumble the ball in the fourth quarter in your last offensive drive with less than 2 minutes is so inexcusable. And I mean, even Harbaugh was like, you got to protect the ball. And I mean, obviously Zay looked very dejected on the sideline. He just looked like he was
He knows that feeling. He's
right.
been there before. It's gotta like weigh heavy on your mind that sometimes, and especially because he was the guy all night. He was the one making all the receptions, and so sometimes that's just weighing down heavily. And he does. He just I don't know. I love his passion. I love his energy. I think he's a great Raven, but I don't want to see him go anywhere. But he does need to learn to just slow it down,
Yeah.
be aware, go down, know that sometimes you do just have to end the game. It doesn't have to be about you. You just have to go down with the ball.
Yeah. I mean, he's a very young player still. He's still gonna, he's gonna make these mistakes.
For sure.
Every player makes mistakes. It's this is not it's not unheard of for look at what happened to Derrick Henry in the first quarter. Fumble the ball. Things happen, but in that moment, a playoff heavy implicated game, less than 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, like all of the different tropes of an NFL season are right there facing you, and you fumble the ball.
Let's not put it all on Zay though,
No,
because
it's not.
what
It's
the
not.
heck was Mark Andrews doing when he decided to throw that backwards pass? Mark, again, protect the ball and stay down on the field. Stop doing weird things. Stop it.
I
Just leave it. You know we lose when we do weird things. Just stay down with the ball. Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I don't even know what that was. Like I
I
had
don't
to
know
I
what it
had to
was.
rewind it. I was like, what? What was he
Mark,
doing? Like
what?
I I get the spirit of it, but like if you don't have a direct line to a fellow teammate where you're able to just shovel it, like
Yeah.
get spun and then you just toss it back. Like thankfully it didn't count, but
Harbaugh's face was just my own face.
yeah,
He was just stood there like.
Yeah, and
I don't know how to excuse that one. That just happened.
yeah, and Harbaugh was even like, I don't know what he was doing during that
He was
play. He's like,
like,
that wasn't the play call. He even said that after the fact, and I was like, yeah, nobody knew what the hell Mark Andrews was doing. Like,
I don't think Mark Andrews knew what Mark Andrews was doing.
See, but that's the kind of thinking. Obviously, it was a really stupid thing to do, but it was kind of thinking that he was like, hey, this is now or never. So I understand the spirit of it, and I agree with that. But it's still like that. And then again, Zay, protect the damn ball. You're in the fourth quarter, less than 2 minutes. You got to get the ball downfield, tuck it. That just
Yeah.
hold on to it. That's all you got to do.
Hold on to the ball.
Hold on for dear life. Don't let anybody take it away from you. Just hold the damn
And while
ball.
we're blaming things, Tyler Luke missed a field goal. All of
Yeah.
these things add up when you don't just keep it under, it would have been his longest kick made, I think, if he'd made that one. But all these things add up and they're important. And, so if it's, everyone needs to do their job and do it well, and we would have won. But I think the overexcitedness in us just sometimes it takes over.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not blaming one person. I'm not putting blame
No,
on
it's a
anybody.
team lot. Like
No,
it's
yeah,
all losses
definitely.
are a team loss,
Yeah, yeah.
100%.
I said that I prefaced that by with saying this. Like, if I'm gonna blame anybody, if I'm really gonna be like, okay, what the hell? It's gonna be on Harbaugh for keeping Derrick Henry out. Like that.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't understand why he does this. I don't understand where the thought process is, especially if he's already got over 100 yards. Keep him on the damn field. Like there is just no excuse for that. There is no reason why he shouldn't be there every single drive until he cannot. If he's obviously gasping for air, take him off the damn field, give him
Yeah.
some oxygen, let him rest, and then put Mitchell in. But until he gets that moment, plus it's Derrick Henry. When the hell is he ever like that? Like the dude is just churning, 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 and you can even see like they showed him on the sideline. I think when the Patriots got a touchdown,
Hmm.
he was just like, "Come on, man!" And I'm like, he's just sitting there, like, why is he not in the game? Obviously, that was defensive, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't understand why they didn't have him in the game. Like, it just,
No, no,
ugh,
I don't know. But he's here for another year at
yeah,
least, I think his contract. So we'll see if they learn their lesson. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see.
yeah. I mean, they have, we talked a little bit about the Packers game, but unfortunately, there's an even bigger thing that needs to happen for the Baltimore Ravens to even be considered for the playoffs. And it rests, unfortunately, on a divisional game and unfortunately on the worst team in said division.
Well,
So,
look, sometimes they turn it around, those Browns for us.
hey,
Sometimes they pull us a favor.
hey, look, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. And look, I like Shooter Sanders. I think he's been playing very well. They've been
Hmm.
very close in games. Um, it's up to the Browns. Do they want to play season ruiner for the Patriots? Because that's what that game is going to be. That is exactly what that game. And divisional opponent, end of season. If you have a not a good winning record and you're just there, like the Browns,
Hmm.
they often can show up and be like, nah, we're going to ruin this for you. Especially because it's like, okay, obviously, who do the Browns hate more? Do they hate the Steelers more? Do they hate the Ravens more? We don't know. Maybe it's going
The
to be
Ravens, 100%, that history. We stole their team.
well, there you go. There you go. But regardless, I mean, still, they're like, okay, well, this is
Oh,
our
they're gonna
shot.
want to show up. They're
Yeah,
gonna want to show up.
this is a shot to take down a divisional opponent. This is a shot to play season ruiner.
And
Crazier
DK
things.
Metcalf's out for 2 games,
Two
so
games, 2 games. So who knows?
we'll see. We'll see. Browns, look, I'll slip you some money if you win.
There you go. Call up the Browns and be like, here's a crisp 20. Can you just make this happen? But I
Come
mean,
on.
you're going into the weekend with a favorable situation in the sense of if Jordan Love is out, you got Malik Willis, but then Malik Willis, if he's out, I don't even know who the Packers third string quarterback is. They probably pick somebody up from somebody's practice squad, I would imagine, depending on
Joe
–
Flacco's the guy for it.
yeah.
Get him on speed dial. Come on.
Yeah, right. There you
Come on,
go.
Joe.
There you go. But you run into that situation, very winnable game. I mean, even still, it's still a winnable game. The Ravens are still a good team. They've been playing very well. They've been playing good teams well. So this is a very winnable game for the Ravens. It is a short week. There could be a little bit more concerning injuries going on, but maybe a Woozy comes back. You need a Woozy because that secondary is not as tight as it should be, as we saw with Drake May. But even regardless, so you get a Woozy back, hopefully. We got to see where his foot's at this week. But people can come back. People can help out the secondary. You got maybe a third string quarterback. You beat the Green Bay Packers, and then it all rests on the Browns to show up, which
Come on, Cleveland.
I mean, like I said, Shooter Sanders has been commanding that offense pretty well. They're not that terrible. I mean, they just look, they just barely lost to the Bills 23-20. So
Oh yeah.
take that as
Yeah.
you take that as you will. The Bills are a very good team, but the Bills are kind of up and down. I don't care. Like that's a positive in my book.
I'll take it.
They just nearly beat the Bills. So who's to say they can't beat the Steelers on Sunday? I mean,
Well, it's big game for both us and the Packers. Packers coming off of a big loss. And the Bears are going up against the 49ers. So, they're still, I don't know if they win out and the Bears lose too, if the Packers have a chance to take the division. I don't know the situation over there in the North,
I
in the
don't
NFC.
believe so because the
Do the Bears have the better record against
I don't even hold on. Let me see.
in the
Let's look at some playoff stuff really quick. Bu- 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 bu. So the Green Bay Packers are 9-5 right now. The best that they can finish is 11-5, and the
11,
Chicago
5 and 1?
yes, 11
Don't
5 and
forget about
1.
that
I
draw.
forgot about the one. I forgot. Yeah, sorry. So that's technically not a loss, but it's also not technically a win. But it does factor into the end of the. So all the Chicago Bears have to do, presumably, is win one game.
Win
Win,
one more. Yeah.
and yeah, and then they've already clinched a playoff spot. But if they win one more, I believe they get the division. Yeah.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Packers are still going to be out there to play for their playoff lives. I think they're still playing for a playoff slot. I think they can still get into the playoffs. I think if they win out, I believe.
Yeah.
So the point is they're going to be playing hard.
Two
That's
teams with a lot to lose this week. So
yeah,
it's going to
yeah,
be, I think it'll still be a good game no matter what. I was away on the calendar. I was looking forward to this one, seeing Lamar and Jordan Love go against each other. But if that's not the case, then, I think there'll still be a lot going on over there.
yeah. No, I mean it's going to be a good game regardless. The Packers are still the Packers. They've been playing very well. They've been a little up and down. They are a 9-5-1, as I just said, or 9-5, and then you corrected me on the one. But you're right. They're playing for their playoff lives, regardless who's under center. If it's Malik Willis, if it's whoever the third string quarterback, if they call somebody up, if they find their own Phillip Rivers, maybe they call Brett Favre. He comes out of retirement. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do
Why
if.
not?
Yeah.
Crazier things have happened this season.
Hey, you know what? Philip Rivers is playing pretty well for being 5 years removed from playing in the NFL. I'll say that.
Yeah,
But regardless, the Packers are going to be playing hard. The Steelers are going to be playing hard because they're also
they know what's at stake too.
exactly, and the Ravens are their backs are against the wall. They can only it starts on Saturday. They have to beat the Packers. If they beat the Packers, then they must cheer the Browns on and see what happens.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be another late night for me over here in the UK. Watching that game at 4 a.m., devastating.
That's dedication.
Yeah, waking up at 1:20, going to bed at 4:30, not being able to sleep because I'm haunted by the loss that I just witnessed. And I get to do it all again on Saturday night because it's another late game.
See, this is how dedicated Billy is that she's
I
waking up
love
at
my team.
2 o'clock in the morning. I did that in Japan watching the Dolphins at 2 o'clock in the morning. I woke up, watched it. They won on a last second field goal, and I turned my phone off and went right to bed.
Worth it. It's so much easier to sleep once they win, but when they don't, you just replay all the bad things in your head. But yeah,
But
no, let's see. I think, I'm keeping the delusion alive.
yeah,
I
yeah.
believe in my team. And hopefully Lamar comes back, no problems. His O-line protect him, and we continue to have no problems, and we get a nice little top of the North moment.
I mean, there was a lot positive that happened in the Patriots game that they can build on. Obviously, the confidence is still there. Excuse me, even with Jackson being hurt, the confidence was still there. Stu Huntley played a wonderful game. Obviously, those last second mistakes, those are obviously the things that you can never account for. You can never correct. Zay's obviously probably got a mouthful from everybody and John Harbaugh to like, dude,
And
tuck the damn ball.
himself. He's
Yeah,
his own
and
biggest
himself. Yeah,
critic.
exactly. But I think it's going to be a really good game, even if Jordan Love somehow clears concussion protocol, which I don't think he will. Malik Willis is still a very dangerous quarterback. He's good on his feet. He can throw the ball
Mhm.
downfield, but I think it's going to be a good game. Hopefully next week we'll be talking about how the NFL storylines can never get better than a Week 18 showdown to decide a division winner. That would be
Hmm.
exciting because then you got the Steelers and the Ravens. Week 18,
Yeah.
all of the drama for all the marbles. Because I think whoever whoever wins that game is obviously, if it comes down to that, is obviously going to win the division. I think the loser doesn't even get into the playoffs because of how tight the
Yeah,
AFC
that
race
is.
is.
It's the king.
So you're literally playing win or go home if that happens. It starts on Saturday. The Ravens have to beat the Packers and then hope that the Browns upset the Steelers, which is very, very possible. Very, very possible. Again, we'll have a lot more to talk about if that's the case. Setting up the very dramatic Week 18, hopefully playoff showdown for both of these teams.
Hey, look, if the NFL is scripted, it's a great story.
And, you know,
Paging Roger Goodell, if you could just make that happen.
yeah. All right, come on, officials and script writers, let's go. Cook this one
Yeah.
up. All right. Thank you so much, Billy, for joining me again. This has been Roundtable Ravens episode 2. Again, we will be back next week. The holidays are coming up, but wanted to get this one in before the holidays show up. That way, next week, like I said, we can potentially talk about a final showdown between the Steelers and Ravens in week 18. Thank you again, Billy. This has been a wonderful chat about the Ravens. Two things: Zay, protecting the down ball. Harbaugh, please keep Derrick Henry on the ground.
And
That's
that's all
it.
you need.